the other pass rushers. Like, was that something that you thought you guys were getting in the whole package?
Yeah, I think he's been around this league a long time. He's been around a lot of great rushers in his time in this league as well. So I think as he's grown up and matured a little bit, even from our time when we had him in Houston, he's probably learned a lot about himself and just the game in general. So, I mean, that's another added piece, taking on a little bit more of a leadership role and helping those guys out. Yeah, definitely adds some value to our team.
John, go ahead.
Yeah, Shane, wondering, how much you think Jadeveon can contribute, physically and mentally in a week. And I wonder if it helps that he sort of did something pretty similar last year with Seattle. And
I mean, ultimately that will decide how much we feel like we can get them in there on Monday. So it's going to be kind of wait and see over these next few days, and we'll make a decision from there.
one other topic for you, the rookie class, kind of in general, whether it's Fulton or Murchison or Jackson, wondering if you can talk about kind of where they stand on the learning curve compared to what would be a normal year, normal off season. What differences do you see simply because of they haven't had the time that other rookie classes might have had?
Yeah, I think all three of those guys have done a good job of coming in and learning and picking things up and improving, and just their understanding of what we're trying to get accomplished at each of their respective positions. Obviously missing the spring. I mean, we were playing some major catch up, but we had the Zoom meetings. And I think all three of those guys showed the ability to kind of handle that environment and learn from it. They came back here in the fall once we started. And I felt like they had a pretty good base understanding what we were trying to get accomplished. But I mean, there's going to be things that show up just with them not doing it as much live, that they're going to have to learn as we go. But hopefully they can get caught up to speed pretty quick with some of that stuff.
Eric?
Hey, Shane, just wanted to ask you about Vic Beasley. Where is he at now? What would he have to show you he's able to contribute in some capacity on Monday?
Yeah, I mean, similar to JD, honestly. Like, they both out there really for the first time when we started stretch yesterday. So, I mean, they're kind of in the same boat. I know Vic's been around just in terms of defense and kind of knowing what to do probably a little bit more, but he still hasn't really done it any more than JD would have done it on the field. So just the same kind of conversation, just the conditioning level, what we think we can get out of him, potentially where he's at in terms of just his understanding and being able to execute what we're asking him to do.
Teresa?
And Shane, with Harold, the offseason that he's had and now into training camp and as you prepare this week, how is he looking and how much do you hope that he can benefit having the likes of JD on the other side?
Yeah, Harold's good, man. He's in good shape. I mean, he's been practicing good. He's putting some good stuff on film right now in practice. I think he's improved. So we'll just have to see how that carries over once we start on Monday. Then obviously having those other guys, I mean, it frees them up a little bit more, right? Like, you've got another force, whether it's JD, whether it's Beasley, both of them, right? Like, there's other guys they got to worry about too. So, I mean, anytime the more rushers you have, the easier, hopefully, it gets for everybody, and everybody has a little bit more opportunities because of that.
Paul?
I know you'll take the pressure and the sacks however you can get it, Shane, but are you optimistic once all these guys are up to speed that you guys will be able to have more success more often with the four-man rush and reap the benefits of what comes with that?
Yeah, I think as we get all these guys here and get going and figure out exactly what we can do once they're fully involved in the defense and where this thing's at, I mean, it's gonna evolve a little bit. We'll just have to see where it goes in terms of schematically what we want to do. I mean, we've had success doing a lot of different things over our time, whether it's in Houston, whether it's been here. But ultimately, it comes down to finding out what's the most effective way for us to get off the field on third down and really to be able to put our guys in positions to be successful, right, in doing that and being able to execute. So I think we got some versatility there. It's just going to be a matter as we get going where the pieces really fit, so to speak.
Jim?
Shane, I guess when Jadeveon came in the door, I mean, what's the first thing you do with him? And the fact that you've been with him in the past and he has so much familiarity, were you able just to kind of hit the ground running with him?
Yeah, so I mean, from a technique and fundamental standpoint, he's heard the same thing for his whole time in Houston, what we kind of are looking for and expect. And then schematically, I mean, there's some stuff similar, some stuff different. Like you try to connect the dots as best you can and really translate terminology for him to help him in that regard. I mean, he was a year removed, but at the same time, like there's some similarities. He just kind of the new stuff that comes with it. But it has been pretty good. I mean, he's a smart kid. He is. He learns pretty quick. He has a good understanding of defense and what it is, so that helps as well.
And when you put the I guess the chest pad on and work with those guys in individual, I'm assuming that's maybe about hand placement and technique. I mean, what do you trying to stress when you do that on a regular basis in practice?
Yeah, I think the main thing is just the striking, like where I can feel if they're truly striking, if they're exploding through with their hands, they're not just placing them and getting them tight and inside, all the hand placement stuff that comes into it, but truly feeling them actually delivering a blow, getting extension as they strike instead of trying to bench press as you see some guys do. But I think with the chest pad, you can actually feel it a little bit more rather than looking at it, seeing it at times on a sled or anything else. It gives me a little bit better gauge of really how they're doing
it. Joe?
Sorry. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Shane, I just wanted to ask you about Clowney with versatility. Obviously, we look back at the 2017 season and all the different things you guys did with him. Does it help at all for him to have been in a different system since then, having that more experience? And then is it one of those things where you would gradually maybe add things to him as this season goes on in terms of moving him around, using him in different ways?
Yeah, I think we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I mean, right now we're truly just trying to get them locked in with the base stuff, getting lined up where we see them on normal situations, so to speak. I mean, that's the beauty of him. He has versatility to do some of those things. He's done it in the past, just his skill set. But right now, man, we're really focused on really just getting him to play outside linebacker, be able to set the edge, all those little things that he's kind of missed through this training camp, getting him back to square one, being able to get lined up in our defense and kind of go from there.
Try to squeeze two more in here before we get them out. Luke?
Shane, when you have a free agent come in and you're trying to figure out how to sort of fit into your overall plan, what's the difference when it's not someone that's totally unfamiliar to you, like Clowney, where you kind of know what his limits are, what his weaknesses are, but also what his strengths are?
Yeah, I think anytime you get these free agents and if you have familiarity with them, I mean, I think it helps just knowing who they are and ultimately how they're going to fit into the culture and all that. You just have a better understanding for who they are and how they're going to be day to day, all of those things. So it's not like totally new with that regard. And then just really the day to day in the meeting room, how to handle them. I mean, everybody's got different personalities. Everybody's got different kind of different things that motivate them day to day, ultimately how they fit in with the other guys. I think a lot of that stuff comes into play with these free agents. And obviously, if you have a better understanding of that out the gate, I think it makes their transition a little bit easier. As a coach, you can kind of help that transition a little bit easier if you know who that guy is.
Last one, Terry.
Shane, when you bring a guy in like Clowney and he hasn't had a camp, what are some of the things on the practice field and in the meeting rooms you look for from him to know that he's ready and how much he can handle?
Yeah, I think first and foremost right now is his conditioning, his body, making sure he's good there, his strength, all that type of stuff, just so he can go out and do what we're asking him to do in a game. Like, these games are physical. It's going to be the first game in a long time, no preseason. He hasn't really practiced, so the conditioning aspects will come into play. And then really just learning wise, ultimately is putting him out there, seeing if he can execute, figuring out what's too much, what's not enough, what we can add. Like, it's really trial by error, so to speak, when it comes to some of that stuff. But trying our best to keep it small for him and not overload him and put him in positions where he's thinking. And, you know, ultimately, you never want to slow a guy down because you're asking him to do too much, you know. So just figuring out what he's comfortable with.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate your time.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Shane.